This week, Google is absolutely slamming the AI industry. First, it dropped Gemini 3, a model that instantly shot to #1 on almost every major benchmark, blowing past Grok 4.1 and even GPT 5.1. And before the hype around that even cooled, Google stepped on the gas again with something even bigger, Nano Banana Pro. This new image model promises studio-quality visuals, flawless text, smarter edits, and the kind of reasoning the original Nano Banana could only dream about. And just like Gemini 3 Pro, it's free globally starting today inside the Gemini app. Just open Create Image and switch to the thinking model. And the crazy part, Nano Banana Pro isn't just better. It crushed every rival model in benchmarks. It shows Gemini 3 Pro image clearly outperforming every other text-to-image model across all measured categories. In overall preference, users consistently pick its results because they look more accurate and more coherent. In visual quality, it produces sharper details, better lighting, and stronger prompt alignment than Gemini 2.5 Flash, GPT Image 1, Seedream, Flux Pro, or Hunyuan. The biggest gap appears in infographics, where Gemini 3 Pro delivers perfectly structured layouts and readable text that other models still struggle with. In Google's long war to pull users away from ChatGPT, Nano Banana Pro is shaping up to be one of its strongest weapons. Because I've been using the original Nano Banana for a variety of things since it launched in late August, from modifying our existing stock images to seamlessly add new text to generating eye-catching thumbnails for our evolving AI channel, Nano Banana has been an immensely useful tool for work. But what you may not know, without trying Nano Banana yourself, is that it can sometimes be incredibly frustrating to work with. It often misses important details or misinterprets your prompt entirely, forcing you to start over. Asking it to make changes in a follow-up is often a waste of time because it tends to repeat the same edit as if it's banging its digital head against a wall. And if you dared to ask for anything that wasn't a perfect 1x1 square, good luck, you were done. Now, Nano Banana Pro addresses nearly all these issues. It does a much better job at understanding your initial prompt. It can actually handle requests for additional edits, and it can finally create images in 16:9 and other aspect ratios. This is because it's built on the new Gemini 3 Pro reasoning model. It can track context across long prompts, break down instructions, understand relationships between objects, and maintain consistency across multiple edits. The original Nano Banana, built on Gemini 2.5, didn't have this kind of reasoning. It was fast and fun, but it didn't think the way Gemini 3 Pro does. That's why it repeated mistakes, misunderstood follow-ups, or got confused by complex instructions. So by moving Nano Banana Pro onto Gemini 3 Pro, Google essentially upgraded it from a quirky image toy into a genuinely capable, reasoning-powered creative tool. Now, Google says Nano Banana Pro can generate context-rich infographics and diagrams that actually understand real-time information like weather, sports results, or data dashboards. Its ability to render perfectly legible text, whether it's a tiny label or a long paragraph, makes it ideal for posters, invitations, product cards, and even multilingual layouts. It can also blend multiple elements into one cohesive composition, combining up to 14 images and as many as 5 people, without breaking the style or the lighting. Because the model excels at editing, Nano Banana Pro unlocks a set of advanced creative controls. You can locally edit any region, shift camera angles, add bokeh, change focus depth, apply color grading, or even transform lighting from day to night. And all of this renders at up to 4K resolution across a wide range of aspect ratios, something the original Nano Banana simply couldn't do. Here are several examples of images I created using Nano Banana Pro so you can get a feel for what it's like and why I'm calling it an AI Photoshop for beginners. One major issue with the original Nano Banana, ChatGPT, and similar early AI editors was their inability to keep a person's face consistent across edits. Even simple requests often resulted in distorted or mismatched features. The AI just couldn't align the edited version with the original face, making people look like entirely different individuals. There was concern that Nano Banana Pro would have the same flaw, but it doesn't. It handles precise edits without warping identity. The examples show this clearly. Gemini rendered the word Nano Banana onto a gingerbread cookie so naturally it looks like real frosting, and it swapped a Galaxy XR headset with an Apple Vision Pro while preserving facial structure. It even recreated part of the nose and added a subtle room reflection. The reflection isn't perfectly accurate, but unless you compare it to the original photo, you'd never notice. Now, we We all know AI can't make memes. You need a certain level of Photoshop proficiency to mold images to fit specific formats. But thanks to Nano Banana Pro, you can now create these kinds of memes in moments. Here are two examples showing the Android bot mascot adapted to the "Nay, I'd win" and domain expansion scenes from the anime series Jujutsu Kaisen. I can't imagine how many hours it would take me to make either of these manually, yet Nano Banana Pro did them in seconds. What impressed me most, however, was the ability to go back and forth with Gemini to refine the first image. This would have been impossible with the original Nano Banana, where I would have had to start a dozen new chats, tweaking the initial prompt each time just to achieve the same result. And Nano Banana finally supports more aspect ratios. The original Nano Banana was notoriously stubborn, often refusing to generate anything other than 1x1 square images. Users had to trick it by uploading a blank white image with their desired dimensions, forcing it to fill that canvas. But Nano Banana Pro solves this by natively supporting aspect ratios like 16:9, 2:1, and more, giving you far more flexibility in where you can use your generated images. Another major weakness of previous models, including the original Nano Banana and most other AI tools, was spelling accuracy in generated images. Long text, complicated labels, or dense paragraphs almost always came out with mistakes. Here's an example with a lot of text. Nano Banana 1 still struggled badly with anything extensive, but Nano Banana Pro handles it perfectly. Not a single spelling mistake. This is real, and it's crazy. To push it further, even more text was added, and Nano Banana Pro kept nailing the accuracy. Still zero spelling mistakes. Absolutely wild. Another feature that's genuinely insane. It can take texts, research papers, and turn them into complex diagrams with all the details, graphs, and no spelling mistakes. Every concept, diagram, and explanation compressed into a single visual. It's basically the greatest information compression tool humans have ever used. Here's the entire 92-page PDF from the Llama 3 herd of models, transformed into a professor-style whiteboard. Every concept, every explanation, all the key graphs and information compressed into one detailed visual. Now, what's so shocking is that Nano Banana Pro can generate images that convert into precise animations. It doesn't just draw characters, it produces perfectly aligned frames that flow smoothly when played together. The sprite sheet on the right turning into the clean animation on the left shows how accurately it captures motion, timing, and consistency. As of today, Nano Banana Pro, Google's Gemini-powered image model, is officially built into Adobe Photoshop Beta. The workflow is simple. Open Photoshop Beta, make a selection, choose Generative Fill, switch the engine to Gemini 3, enter a prompt, and generate the image. Compared to Adobe Firefly, Gemini delivers stronger lighting consistency, sharper style transfer, and far better handling of complex edits without warping details. And unlike Midjourney's external workflow, it works directly inside Photoshop with full layer-based control. For designers, this is the biggest Photoshop upgrade of 2025. Download the beta and try it yourself. And now people are already pushing Nano Banana Pro way beyond traditional image generation. Users are solving math problems with visual explanations. Students are generating detailed biology diagrams in seconds. And artists are producing absolutely stunning artwork with styles that the original Nano Banana could never handle. The jump in capability is obvious. Now, why is this model so superior? Generally, image generation models are optimized for local texture coherence, making the pixels look like a bridge, at the expense of global semantic consistency, which means understanding what a bridge actually is. This is why AI text usually looks like alien hieroglyphs. It was mimicking the shape of letters without understanding the symbol. The hardest problem in AI imagery isn't photorealism, it's spatial logic, and this implies Gemini 3 has a world model that understands 3D geometry and functional relationships, not just 2D pixel correlations. It is rendering the physics, not just the photograph. If this is reliable, the marginal cost of technical illustration just collapsed to zero. We are moving from an era where AI was a creative director to an era where it is a draftsman. This transforms the tool from a toy for artists into a utility for educators and engineers. Engineers finally get an AI that speaks their love language, overkill diagrams, and banana jokes. Despite its many improvements, Nano Banana Pro isn't flawless. The resolution of generated images is still below 1080p for 1, and while text rendering is significantly better, the model still trips up occasionally, particularly when dealing with background text or words not explicitly defined in the prompt. It also frequently fails to display the correct time on analog clocks, a persistent hurdle for AI image models. Additionally, getting the perfect image still requires a fair bit of finesse. If your prompting skills aren't strong, you might find the results horrifying. And safety guardrails remain in place to prevent edits involving public figures. So you can't, for instance, plaster Gabe Newell's face on a Steam machine to create the Valve Gabe Cube. For that, you'll still need Photoshop, and notably every image created or edited with Nano Banana Pro now includes C2PA metadata. This means AI-generated content will eventually become easier to identify across search results and social platforms once the industry fully adopts the standard. Even TikTok confirmed this week that it will begin using C2PA to invisibly watermark AI-generated videos. For usage, the free tier of Nano Banana Pro comes with a limited quota. Higher limits unlock for Google AI Plus, Pro, and Ultra subscribers. The model is also accessible inside AI mode and search for Pro and Ultra users in the United States, and globally through Notebook LM for anyone using Google's Research Assistant. So, what do you think? Is Google officially taking over the AI game with Gemini 3 and Nano Banana Pro? Let me know in the comments. And if you want the real story behind the world's fastest moving AI breakthroughs, make sure to like and subscribe to Evolving AI for daily coverage.